So it's been a couple weeks, haven't had time to work on the brewery. I know, crazy times. But today it's going to be a two-part video where one, we're going to be spackling with this tool and some good old spackling. And it's a two-step process. We're going to use this to basically sand off some of the holes. And if you really want to, you can use sandpaper to smooth it out. For me, I'm not that concerned because there's not a lot of damage from it and there's not a lot of gaps to fill, so I'm just going to use this where it'll make it flush, and then just some normal all-purpose spackling. And then the next video will be us painting the whole brewery after this dries, so it'll take about usually a day to dry depending on how heavy you do it, but I'm going to give it 3 days just to make sure there's enough time so that when we are painting, we're not painting on wet spackle, and then as it dries it makes the paint crack and then we'll have to touch it up. But kind of boring video honestly, but I gotta show you how to do it. That's what I'm doing, and we're doing it right here, right now. Alright, so we have this spot and you can see some of the drywall's peeled off and then some of the interior. And you just take a little bit of spackle. Nothing crazy. And right now I put a little too much on there, so it's just an easy fix. In the bucket, and then you just want to smooth it out, and if it's still needs some, push it in, and you just want to make sure it looks super flush with what's existing there. And you're like, oh no, there's all that, not a big deal. Fill it in, press it in. That's it. The plan was to go left to right as I spackled each wall. And one thing that you can't see through this video is I failed to move that plywood and 2x4 in the ladder while I was doing it. During it, there was 2 trouble spots and they just happened to be in the both corners, one to the left and one to the right. The most troublesome one was the upper right corner, and you can see me filling a lot of spackle, but after it dried it was solid and worked out quite well. Spackling is done. Probably took me about 30-40 minutes just to get everything. So what I'm going to end up doing is letting it dry. Pretty happy with the results now. Over the next couple days I'm going to monitor the wetness of it, and if need be I'm going to sand it down, get rid of any excess goops and blobs that I might have missed just as I'm powerhousing through it. Really easy to do. I'm not a professional at all. I'm just a hobbyist. If something's broken in my house, I do my best to fix it the best way I know how. And that's usually watching a YouTube video to figure it out on my own. And I'm usually happy with the results. So Next up, we got painting. I'm gonna have my wife and my mother-in-law help out because I hate painting. So they're going to help me with that, and probably the tall spots I'm gonna have to pitch in, which I'm totally fine with, just as long as it's not everything. And we came up with a cool color scheme. It's to be gray on gray on gray with the existing yellowish ceiling wall, which I hate painting ceilings, so I'm totally fine with it, and it'll brighten up the brewery. Thanks for checking it out. Please like and subscribe. Painting up next.